What is up, all my gorgeous souls? Let me put on my comments here. This is Breaking the Cage. It is Astrology TV, and I am LSF, or as Matt likes to call me, I am the Shaman. So let me real fast get my incense burning, because whoa, just wowzer, the amount of energy and so forth has been coming in. Let me get it going. I forgot to pull that one out. Whoa, flipping things over. Whoa. But if you've never watched the show before, I didn't get it going on. If you've never watched the show before, this is where I channel the astrology. And then I get looking and talking to you about the astrology, plus whatever it is that all of my guides have given me to give everybody to help us all along our way. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people have been talking about it. You've been feeling the energy the last few days, and Spirit is saying that is you all starting to resonate, truly resonate with the energy and feeling the cockeyedness that's going on with this. Because a few days ago, as people started feeling this energy, what you're not realizing is typically the Lionsgate opens on like the 26th. Its portal opens on the 26th. And you usually have the highest level of energy for that Lionsgate energy. Typically, it hits right at 8-8. That's why it's always called 8-8. And it typically closes right there at the 12th. But what was it? I was woken up from a dead sleep seeing countdowns, just countdowns. And I'm a Lionsgate baby. I'm telling you right then, that's when it was opening. It is open early this year. And I would expect 8-8 is going to be off the chain, but I would expect you're going to feel that energy hit a peak before 8-8 and then just hold it. Just hold it. So I'm going to be talking to you over the next couple weeks as we get to 8-8, as we get to that highest level of the Lionsgate. I'm going to keep talking to you about that. Like I said, it's your bodies are starting to resonate. It's not just about being awake. There's so much going on with this. Hold on, I got to switch my page here because I'm on the blueprint. There's so much going on with this. And it's Leo season. Now, first off, I want to say for anybody who is in Aries and anybody who is a Libra, you have now gotten the North and South nodes have moved into your sign. And let me tell you, these are going to be whammies for you. This next year is going to be a whammy. It could be an incredibly, powerfully good, life-changing energy. And it's not just because the North and South node are there. It is, but it's not that. What I'm trying to say is it's taken thousands and thousands and thousands to get the lineup that we have going on in our astrology right now, to get it going on the way that it is. And I always tell people, if the North or South node is in your sign, whether it's a sun, moon, or rising, if one of those three main signs, your life is about to take a change. And it can be a very good change, but it is definitely, that's what the North and South nodes are. They are speaking to you about what you either are the ascending in or what you're the descendant of. And it's speaking to you about the major changes. Aries, this energy with the North node coming in here is going to be extra explosive, but that's part of your lesson here, is learning how to keep that alpha energy at the same time with finding a peacemaker inside and not just blowing it off. And Libras, for the next year, this is about you finally stepping into true justice. And you're going to find a lot of that coming in as we going into the Lionsgate. And that Lionsgate is also open. This gives us, according to Spirit, I said it's Leo season, but it's not necessarily like the Leos. You got to understand. I am speaking about the sign itself and the energy of it, not a Leo. I am a Leo. So I don't want to get that out there for Leos to be misinformed of this energy. Because Leo is a lion, and lion has been connected with the king of the jungle, the king of the zodiac. It has also been connected with linking to Jesus. It has been linked to the light of the word. It has been linked to, with Jesus, the light of the world, as well as the destroyer of darkness. It has been linked to the Lion of Judah, the tribe of Judah. Okay? This has a lot to do with where I'm taking this Lionsgate. Every Lionsgate has a lot to do with Ascension. But like I said, it has taken eons to get these planets lined up for this kind of lit energy. We are lighting it up, we are setting it on fire, and we are putting things on its tilt, and we're changing the world. This energy is bringing every piece of that fire light in this Lionsgate. It's being lifted. Okay, and that's what I was saying when I was starting out the night with, so many of you are resonating. You're resonating with the frequencies that are shifting. You're resonating with the frequencies of the higher energy coming through. But your human is also resonating with the indifferences of the lower vibrations that are blasting out. Like I said, you're going to start seeing so much more entitlement, so much more in your face, so much more just blurting that out. And then, whoa, trying to think about the consequences afterwards. This is all part of that warrior learning how to be a true warrior, part of that lion, part of that, that linking of that Lion's Gate ascension energy to what truly is ascension. This is where it's going to start taking it. Let me make sure you hear me through, because I am not getting all on doomsday prophecies. But the point is, you are going to start seeing more of those doomsday prophecies, because people are going to misconnect this stuff right now. They're going to be connecting it with biblical, the 7 seals. They're going to be connecting it with, the 4 horsemen. But what Spirit is giving me is, for as long as the Bible has been a story, as long as there has been the myths and the mythologies and the cultures, it has always been going towards the idea of revelations, the doomsday, the end of the world. This is not the case. What they give me along the line is a little bit more of, and it's funny because they literally give me the movie where Yoda is saying to somebody, the prophecy misread. I can't remember in the movie, but where they're talking about, who the hell is he? They're talking about Darth Vader, coming in and how he was supposed to save everybody. And Yoda goes, well, maybe the prophecy was misread. This is what Spirit is giving me. Hold on. No way. Someone showed up on my phone. I don't know if y'all could see it or not. Anyway, what Spirit is giving me is along that line. You have heard that the end of the world is coming. For as long as you've heard the end of the world is coming, you have heard of, connecting the 7 seals, or the breaking of the 7 seals, or the horsemen, or this or that, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we are going through a major change. Yes, we are changing. I've been saying since before 2019 that I was connecting before 2019. For those who have followed me for this long, I originally stated that Spirit used to give me the Exodus, and then they changed it to, the Middle Ages or the Dark Ages, and how we're going through a definite change. You've heard it in astrology. I don't remember, what is it, the 20,000 year, I don't know how many, where it goes all the way around. And this is why you have the age of Pisces, the age of Aquarius, the age of whatever. These are the changes. that are happening. You are alive and living and breathing and resonating with these changes. Spirit is reminding us that as we are going through this Lionsgate, you are going to resonate more and more and more. Your psychic and your body and your physical body, your DNA, and all of that is shifting. And this is highly important for you to, for one, pamper yourself, as well as for two, slow your roll a little bit. Because I've been saying since before 2019 that you were heading towards more or less like a revolution, a revolutionary change. And the biggest part of it is making sure you're still here to be part of it. So we have to slow our roll a little bit, because we're going to get pushed up against the wall. We're going to get, you know, those energies of just spouting off the mouth, of aggression coming out of people, of entitlement coming out of people. You're gonna be feeling these things, and I'm being warned, because a lot of that has to do with the Lionsgate, as well as the fact that I don't really speak about it that much, but there's also the guardians of the pole, which are the dragons. Okay, so I'm getting lions left and right, but the dragons are coming in, and I'm not saying draconians, I am speaking of dragons. It's part of the astrology. Most people don't speak about it, but this energy is coming in so in depth with such precise boom. Okay, you've heard about the 7 seals, you've heard about the doomsday prophecies, you've heard about the horsemen for as long as there's been a story of any of that in the Bible and everything. Da 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 da. This is a prophecy misread. It is, like I said, the changing of the times. What Spirit is reminding me is pay attention to Leo in the form of the sun rules it. And just like in is the executive boss, he's the big boss. All planets, all energies take their orders from the big boss. This is the sun. And sun is your biggest source of light, biggest source of that energy, of the illumination. Like I said, we're lighting it up all the way across. Now, depending on where the sun is in your chart, or Leo is in your chart at this time, is what's really going on in your life. Like for me personally, that is my 11th house. Even though I'm a Leo and I'm about to be reborn, because that's how it is. You transit when it comes through and you hit your solar return. But even though I'm hitting that, I'm hitting it in my 11th house, which means I'm going to be going directly into my 12th house. So for me, it's targeting my outer world and my tribe. I'm saying it this way because I want you to understand wherever that sun is technically the energy that you are walking through. It is always the executive producer, the executive boss, the one that is in charge of everything, and all planets take their orders from the sun and what information the sun is giving out. The sun is not just illumination, it is also ego. And this is a big part of what this Lionsgate energy is coming down to. Because what Spirit then is telling me is, when are all of us humans going to get it through our head? We are the supreme being. Period. We are the supreme being. We have so much problems disconnecting from the matrix. We are still, even when we've been unplugged, even when we've been awakened, even when we're starting to learn ascension, even when we're starting to learn enlightenment, we revert back to the matrix. We revert back to still being plugged into the system because we were raised and that's what we know. We have to start remembering remembering who we are better. We have to start connecting better. We have to start digging deep into the fact of we are those supreme beings. You are source. You are a piece of source. Just like they say, you are one piece of sand, but yet you are everything. So what they give me is, what they give me is from the fifth element, she is the supreme being. When she goes to stop the planet from hitting the planet or whatever it was and putting the whole world to the end, she turns into the supreme being. This is what we are moving towards. We are moving towards not I am. I am is truthfully, you've heard in spiritual practice, you've heard in chakras that you connect with I am light, I am positive, whatever I am. And this is part of your manifestation. But remember, I am is truthfully an affirmation for your root chakra, which is the bottom. Your third eye and your crown. You have your heart, your root, you have your sacral, your solar, all of this. I am is the beginning state. We have to get past I am and move our happy little butts all the way up into I know. Like I've said a million times, for those of you who do know me or who have been following me or who've heard me talking to Matt, I have had to deal with demonic energies before. I have had to remove them and deal with them. And in those moments, I will move into that shaman perspective. I will turn it on. I am titanium. I am indestructible. And I will come in with that energy that I'm start channeling of that source. But in my day-to-day life, I got to remember that in my day-to-day life, this is what all of us do, not just me. This is what all of us do in my day-to-day life. Well, no, I got to pay such and such bill. I forgot. Oh my God, something's going on with my mom. You all have heard me say a million times with, I am a human. My ego is human, just like yours is. And I will get paranoid about losing my mom. And because she's 80 now, she's got dementia, she's been in and out of heart surgeries. I do that and I explain this to you all because I want you to know I'm not just out to steal your money. I wouldn't be doing this show if it was just out for money. I do this because this is about the ascension. This is how we all grow. We are all learning how to break away from the matrix. We are learning how to disconnect and connect our own, to get out of the hive mind and take power of our own mainframe. I am is the bottom of those chakra affirmations. We've got to work up from I am to I feel to I do to I love to I am. I know. This is the big change. You are source. You have that part of source in you and that part of ego. You are everything. And you've got to be able to remember to jack that up and turn that on. This is big part of where we're going here. But as we do that, you're going to find over and over and over again, just like in the movie, The Matrix, you were going to see over and over and over again, more or less that scene from like The Lady in Red, where Morpheus is trying to teach Neo about, were you paying attention or were you paying attention to the Lady in Red? How everybody who is still plugged in, everybody who is not awake, even those who have been awakened, can at this point go back to sleep and forget certain things. Those very people, this very planet that we are trying to change is still hacked in and can turn on you at any given time. Were you paying attention to the Lady in Red? Or are you paying attention to yourself, your ascension, your source energy? Or are you allowing that to pull you down and actually trap you back into the mainframe? I mean, back into the hive. Because Spirit told me on the 4th of July, and I've been waiting since the 4th of July for them to tell me to do this with the Lionsgate. And as cheesy as it sounds, I hear this every single day. And yes, it comes from a movie because that's where they wanted me to take this energy. The reason I started off this energy this night with speaking about us understanding where the Lionsgate is going, the major change that the planet is going through, and how you still have no true idea of what your true authentic self is because you're still learning to shed so much of where you're lacking your full source connection, and where we have to continue to work on this. We can't be consumed by petty differences anymore. We are united in one common interest. We are once again fighting for freedom, not just from tyranny or oppression or persecution, but annihilation. This is what Spirit meant when they are saying the prophecy misread. Since day one, you've had the government trying to kill you. Since day one, they've been feeding you awful things. Since day one, you've been being lied to. Even if you didn't believe it, but there are those that are still plugged in. The thing is, we still are supposed to take care of each other. We still are one. But you have to remember, just like Morpheus was saying, while you're still trying to save them, they can turn on you. The annihilation is your way of life, the way you've always been, literally taking you out because you are source. You are the supreme being. And what they're afraid of is the power that you will come into and change rock their world, and the being able to actually take that power back. This is part of the Lionsgate and where it is going this year, and how on fire we are lighting this energy up. Now, as I get into the actual planetary energy, I want to say, first off, as we go through this week, you're going to be very sensitive and communicative sensitive, okay? You have Mercury and Venus in the heart chakra in Leo. And like I said, all planets from all humans and all situations take their orders from the sun. The sun is now shining its light on everything that it can find from the Leo perspective. And the Leo perspective is your own creativity, your own inner child, your own being able to connect to source energy, being able to bring, like I said, the 5th house. That Leo energy is not just fire, not just love and compassion. It can also be some of the ruthlessest energy. You piss off a Leo, you're going to find that out. We can become ruthless and uncompassionate. We can turn that off when you push us. The sun is fire. It will burn. Okay. This is, what do you burn for? What is worth burning for? I say all the time, that the 5th house has everything to do with your enjoyment, with what makes you want to, what makes you tick, what makes you want to be part of this life, and find out what part of that helps you find your true you, your true connection, your true source. If your musicians, they became really good in what they did because they can't stop being that. Your artists do that. This is what I'm saying. Where have you allowed the world to dull you into not truly loving this world and this life? Mercury and Venus. Venus is your sensitivity, guys, and Mercury is your communication. You're gonna feel pricked if that important things that are important in your heart are in question or feeling threatened. And that right there is where we're going to start coming out with the vocal. But I want you to understand Mercury and Venus are literally crossing each other. And then Mercury is going to be moving into Virgo. Not to mention, like I said, I've been talking about this Leo energy because this is the Lionsgate. But the Lionsgate has a ton to do with the Sirius star. The Sirius star is technically in Cancer. And in case you don't know, it is even more powerful than the sun. And it carries energies of Jupiter and Mars. Abundance, manifestation, higher knowledge. Mars is passion, action, aggression. It is 25 times, 25.5 times more luminous than the sun. This is why all cultures followed the Sirius star when it would rise in our system for us to see. This is part of what I'm talking about. This is also why part of it has to do with why they call it the dog days of summer, because this is when Sirius starts to show up. I am going to be talking to you about Sirius in this energy, but Sirius is in Cancer. Okay, let's go there. Let's get into the body. Cancer energy typically deals with the stomach, the breast, the diaphragm, the liver, but it deals with your digestion. How many times have I told you guys when you watch the show, digestion isn't just food. It's people, places, and things. It is energy. Food is energy, but the places we take ourselves, our tribes that we are part of, the people that we are part of, you are consuming this energy in your life. This is why I make my product that I call Psychic Sponge, because we consume it into us. We are literally digesting healthy or unhealthy vibrational frequencies, people, places, and things into our body. And this is part of where we get it stuck and trapped and having problems with blockages in these chakras. Cancer energy, again, is stomach, breast, diaphragm, liver. It deals with food poisoning as well. Not to mention, you have the Sirius star and Juno still more or less teaming up because they're within 5 degrees of each other. Juno is the sacrifice and the commitment it takes to make something happen. It is often viewed a lot like Venus, but more powerful. Venus would be like the teenage girl who likes the guy. Ooh, this week. And next week, whatever happened, and it's more like the teenage energy Venus is. It is your emotional indifferences. It is your body Venus is. But it talks to you about what treated you good and what treated you wrong. No, Juno is sacrifice and commitment. It is the long haul. Okay? It is helping us to get to the next phase. And it is teaming up with the Sirius star on the pancreas. I'm giving you warnings about what your body may be doing as it is resonating. All right? You have Leo energy, which is always known as the heart, but it's the spine. It is also your vital forces. It is problems of heart and circulation. The sun itself is the spleen, the heart, the stomach, bile, bowels, head, brain, bone structure, circulation again. It is blood pressure. It deals with your immune system, and it deals with overheating. The body itself overheating. We are talking about the big ball of fire. All right? And you have Venus here, which is in retrograde. You have Mercury. You have Lilith here, and the sun just moved in. So the pressure that you may be feeling right in here, the congestion that you may be feeling in this area right now could deal with blockages of energies of what you're still learning how to set free, release, heal. Not to mention, you have a major, what, like a grand square this week. We've had it for the last 2 weeks. The Spirit's telling me to come back in now because they're pointing out that Pluto is a big part of that. And it is hitting the knees. Capricorn is the knees. It is your joints in the body as well as the skin. But Pluto itself is also your immune system and your reproductive system. You are having energies throughout the body that are communicating. Remember, I say all the time, we have a human blueprint that we are operating on. Yet every human, which has the normal same blueprint, is not identical because of our birth dates. Our birth dates and our astrology putting inside of the body changes everything. It makes certain one of us more acceptable to this and unacceptable to that. This is why different people have diseases and different people have things that are ill and other people don't. It has a lot to do with how we are creating and working with our individual bodies. Knowing your blueprint energy can help you in so many ways. And I do that. I rewrote it, 2 years ago. If you're interested in knowing that, all you have to do is contact me. But on the universal level, you have Chiron, which is on the hyoid bone, which basically is a U-shaped bone, dealing with your throat and your tongue, how you talk and speak. This has a lot to do not just with manifestation, but frequency, resonating energy, and what you're resonating with by how you're using your body. Your North Node, which is now in Aries, is also, it is on the parotid gland, which is dealing with the actual ability to vibrate sound. To vibrate sound. The moment you speak, you're not just casting a spell. The moment you speak, you are sending out a calling card as to the frequency you are in. Not to mention what you're speaking. The moment you vibrate that. This is dealing with the vibrational frequency of who and what you are, what you're calling to you, how you're doing it. It deals with your ears, your lips, your cheeks, your mouth, your throat. We are starting to get into senses. All right, you have Jupiter, which is still on the neck nerves, but it's also on the spine. The spinal cord connects to every chakra, including the lower chakras. It connects with every chakra. So you are literally sending nerve-ending conversations from each chakra to another of what is going on with you. And then it's coming outside of you and changing your world. All right. Uranus is the hyoid muscles, which is just like another vibrating energy. It is dealing with swollen throat and speech. Got your tongue. This has a lot to do with that Aries, like I was saying in the beginning, and Libra energy. This is finding justice, not codependency, and learning how to stand in our power, illuminate into the supreme being that you are, but in the right way. There are warriors that will go in half-cocked and get themselves killed because they went off half-cocked to someone who's truly in their power and will take them out, whether it's in conversations or literally from getting your ass whipped. My point is, we are talking about how you speak your truth, how you vibrate your truth. What are you sending out? Then you have Vista, which is the keys. The keys to unlocking all the doors is telling you what you are feeling right here in your chest and your shoulders have everything to do with the signals you need to pay attention to right now. Because this is the keys to opening all the doors to changing and jumping into different realms and so forth and changing your world. It is the doors to ascension in a form. Vista is literally on the lungs itself, how you are breathing, your ability to breathe, your ability to control your own body and the shoulders. I have said 1,000,000 times to all of you, the shoulders is a supernatural highway between the heart and the head. The head thinks it has to answer everything. I don't know how many times you've seen it, you've known it, you know about it. You could be reading a sign and it could say, go through the door. But it could say, go through the door. And your brain will correct it to not read that second the. Your brain is in overdrive trying to keep up. And this is part of what we're doing. This is part of that, not just manifestation, but your meditation. Your meditation is slowing down the brain and allowing the heart to speak. It has to be a supernatural highway between these two. And all the problems come out in the throat, the zeal point, which is the attack point or the higher ascension point, and the shoulders. This is speaking to you of, I coulda, I shoulda, I woulda. Well, what if I maybe? I coulda, no. What is done is done. This is harping on it. This is carrying that energy with you and ripping yourself apart. That is where all of this stress comes from. That is the supernatural highway, when the brain will not make way for the heart. And we're talking about the vibration, that you are literally vibrating in your sound as you speak your truth, or you don't. And then, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. No, you are a supreme being. You have to remember to connect to not I am, but I know that I am the supreme being. I know that every person here is a supreme being, but I know I am. I don't know if you know you are. Like I said, Lady in Red. Everybody out there who's not on that list, not on that awakening, not on that, is always somebody who's going to try to trigger that. You have Pallas, Athena, the warrior goddess, is literally on the colon. You have Mars, which is in Virgo as well, which is in the abdominal cavity. So this is your stomach. We are getting into removing the waste. Okay? You're getting into Sirius, not the Sirius star, Sirius. They're different, which is karma, the threefold, nurturing or neglecting, which is in Libra, the 7th house of your relationships, where the South Node just moved in. This is literally in your kidneys and your bladder. Lower back pains much? This is dealing with finding justice in the relationships, not just for the relationship, but for yourself. This is one of the things I always say is a problem with Libras. Libras put themselves on the back burner, trying to make everybody happy, harmony and balance, but they forget that they are part of it. You are not the scales. You may be a Libra, but you are not the Libra. Just like I am not the Leo. You are fragments of everything. You are the supreme being, and learning how to accept all of that and come into, like I said, I am titanium. We're getting into our true power, truly getting into changing and standing up and making this world come through this change. We will be the ones that they credit. We will be the ones that they remember. Like I've said before, we lived in the days of Hercules, but they will be saying that about us. You have Pluto, which is, again, like I said, in that knees. And then not to mention your 12th house. Your 12th house has Saturn, which is your rules, walls, and boundaries. It is dealing with your structure of how you create those rules, walls, and boundaries, and how they have to be shifted to make it better. It is here with Neptune. They're both in retrograde. And this is your feet. Again, where are your feet walking? There's a reason why they always said in all the different cultures, it is important to bless the feet. The feet hold the energies of everything. Especially when you start bumping into things and you stub your toe and stuff. That's a good sign to slow down. You're doing something wrong. When we get into the actual astrology this week, let me start off with the Sirius star. Like I said, the Sirius star speaks to us of God consciousness, of being that supreme energy, of, you know, the Lion of Judah, the Lion Jesus is connecting us to the highest level of consciousness. It is Thor's hammer. It is, like I said, it is the light of the world and also the destroyer of darkness. It is the knowledge of Ascension. This is where we get so much more illumination from in Cancer. Why do you think Cancer, baby, give mommy a kiss. You're knocking over all of mommy's stuff. No, I want to stay. Well, I kind of, can you get your butt out of my face? Sorry, I'm talking to my kitty. This is part of why the Cancer sign is such an emotional sign, because Sirius star is here. It is speaking to us of that ascension. This is why they're also great at being the clown, mirroring energy. You're going to see mirroring energy coming out left and right. Pay attention to if it's a mirror for you or if it's just showing you the world around you. The Sirius star is getting along wonderfully with Jupiter in that second house. This is illuminating your inner emotional security. It is illuminating your ability to step into your creation of you. It's not just the home you live in, because the fourth house is the home. But this is taking it over to the second house, our inner emotional security and our manifestation. It is abundance. Jupiter is connected to higher knowledge than anything. If you are filling this energy with less than supreme power connection, you are going to be screwing yourself over quite rightly right now. Jupiter is bringing abundance and opportunities. All you have to do is know how to keep your cool, know yourself, stand in that power, and do so. Hi, gorgeous, you're back. And with Juno bringing it the sacrifice and commitment, this means standing your ground, even if you are shaking in your boots. Commitment, sacrifice. When it's the right thing, it's not really as much of a sacrifice as you think. It's the change that throws us off. It is not getting along, though, with Chiron, the wounded healer, in your first house, speaking to your character, speaking to the ego, speaking to the doubt, speaking to seeing the truth, showing who you are to the world versus the way the world sees you. That illumination, that higher source energy coming from that inner emotional security on a universal level of what that fourth house is, speaking to the first, speaking to the alpha. It's making the alpha question himself. Have you spiritually matured or not? This is where we're going. Chiron's the wounded healer because he's great at pointing it out on everybody else, not so great at making the changes for himself. This is what it's looking at. This is where it's asking us. We've got a lot of work still to do, but we can do it. This is also not getting along with Sirius. Not Sirius is not getting along with Sirius. Sirius is in that seventh house. Wanting to go ahead with that codependency, want to go ahead and go, okay, well, I understand that you know this is happening, so I can wait a little bit. No, this is not the time for that. How many times have I said, if you've been following me in the last few weeks, Spirit kept saying we need leaders, And a true leader is not the one who's going to take the higher ground and not make the change, because what they're truly doing is going, well, I'd rather not fight. I'd rather not fight. I'd rather not cause problems. So, all right, I'll be the better person here. I'll suck it up. No, this is not about sucking it up. I'm sorry, but in a form, this is sticking it to the man. Sticking it to the man is sticking it to anybody else who's in the way. Not in the way of fighting, not in the way of aggressively causing problems, but standing your ground. No more codependency. No more enabling. That 7th house is the relationship you have with yourself, and the relationship you have with yourself then becomes the relationship you have with the outer world. And this is asking you from that Sirius star, are you in your source power? Are you coming into that supreme being energy, that consciousness? It's there, but are you connecting to it, or you don't wanna? It is also having a semi-square with everything in Leo. With this, no, not the sun, with Mercury, Lilith, and Venus as they switch places. Gonna really target what's important to you. Gonna target what makes you tick. Gonna target what your creativity is, who you are, how and what you see yourself. Do you see yourself as enjoying life and being this person? Or are you being somebody you don't even know anymore? Sensitivity, communication, Lilith already in the fire of the heart. We're talking about life force energy. Not just live or die, but change life force energy. Illuminating. We're setting this sucker on fire, guys. The Lionsgate, Sirius Star, and Juno, sacrificing commitment, is asking you, how much more will you take? Just how much more will you let them stick the situation and you go, okay? Before you're like, this isn't about being pushed against the corner and coming out like a raging lion. This is about, like I said, turning into, I am all. I am all 4 directions. I am all consciousness. I am everything. I'm not just a Pleiadian. I'm not just a Draconian. I'm not just an indigo. I'm not just a human. I am source. I am supreme. I am able to breathe this into reality. This is where we're trying to get you, babe. Now I'm going to get into the sextiles this week. You have Uranus sextiling Neptune, sextiling Pluto. This is opportunities. Uranus is your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your ability to stand in liberation, your ability to stand in the power of you and manifest it. But this also is your money house. Universally, the 2nd house, Taurus. This is also speaking to you of how to do it properly. North Node's been there for the last 1.5 years trying to teach you how to do this. It's now talking directly with Neptune, your creation of magic, your creation of illusion and delusion, your creation of breathing it to life. Then stepping over and speaking to Pluto, the outer world, society, making the changes so that you do have authority in your own life. These are the opportunities that are there. Will you take them? You have Mercury and Venus as they are switching with Lilith in the between. In that 5th house, which is speaking directly with Haumea and the South Node. Remember, Haumea is the collective consciousness. So whether you want to admit it or not, the collective consciousness in the 7th house says you already know. You already know the truth. You already know if this is enabling a situation. If this is, like I said, it's the 7th house. It's your relationship zone. It is, you know, if you are pampering them and not loving you. You know if you are denying you and nurturing them. You know if this is awkward. It is the collective consciousness. It's just, do you want to be conscious? The South Node coming into Libra again is speaking to us of creating justice, making the changes. You got a year of this coming in. So if you don't see it, you don't not see it. You see it. It's just, do you want to not see it? The opportunity is here to make the changes. Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. You can make so much of a wonderful situation take place right now, but you've got to speak it. You have to vibrate that into reality. You have the moon is going to be moving through Libra, then through Scorpio, then through Sag, and then into Capricorn this week. So we are going through a very sensitive time. It's going to be starting off this week with emotionally wanting to find balance, emotionally wanting to find harmony, wanting to find justice. But Libra often shows you where justice is not. That's the problem here. It doesn't show us where justice is. It shows us where it is not in the 7th house of relationships. Your moon is going to start off there and then move into Scorpio. If it didn't take off well when it was in in Libra, what do you think it's going to do in Scorpio? It's going to full on go into, detective mode. Then it's going to full on want to change everything. Scorpio is not to be messed with. I don't care if it's a Scorpio or just the moon in Scorpio. Then we're going into Sagittarius, coming back into that higher ascension. Well, what will you do with it? Then coming back to Capricorn, will it become cold and methodical? This is all part of who and what you are. You are all of these energies. Can you control them? You have Saturn in that 12th house, which is trining the South Node in Haumea. Meaning the 12th house, your grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet, everything that you are having trouble making changes with because it's your comfort zone that's standing in the way of true healing, is speaking directly to that 7th house. This is the relationship that you have with yourself and your tribe, as well as, remember, you have a relationship with any and everything you care about. When you have no money, you know about your relationship with that lack of money. When you have no food, you know what that relationship is. This is speaking to us not just of the right now and the relationships we have. You've been hearing over and over and over again about how the food is horrible. This is because we need to start farming again. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. You want to have healthier food? You can't trust anything from the government. We are literally talking about the relationship you have with yourself and everything outside of you. You know already how Maya is the collective consciousness. South Node is telling you what you're in your comfort zone about and where it's easier to remain in the hive mind versus truly making the healing and starting new, making a new change in life. Uranus in the 2nd house is speaking to us of Pluto. This is another good energy. That last one was a good energy. It just might be harsh, but it's putting you in the right track. Uranus is your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, liberation. 2nd house, manifestation, money house, how you're bringing it to you. And it is in a trine with Pluto. Back into the old world of the hive mind, and let's make changes. We're making changes. We're changing and we're regaining authority. This is your honor, your reputation, your prestige, but it is also the political arena. It is also your careers. If you don't like it, stop bitching about it and start seeing what you can do to do something about it. The energy is here to make good opportunities right now. The sun in that 5th house, illuminating all the truth coming out of Neptune. Where are you in la la land? Where are you in full on denial? And where are you able to create reality? Where are you able to make the healing? 12th house, again, grief, sorrow, shame, blame, insecurities. It's our comfort zones where we have trouble healing. The sun is illuminating anything that is standing in your way. But you've got to want to make the healing. You've got to want to make the change. You got to stand up in those boots, shaking as much as you are, and do it. Vibrating the throat chakra into reality. You have the 5th house with his Lilith, Venus, and Mercury as they're shifting, even though Mercury is going to be moving into the 6th house. But for the most part, this is there all week. It is getting along great with Chiron and that North Node. So it's definitely telling you where your fire is. It is definitely telling you, telling you what your heart space desires. It is telling you how and what to stand up for. But, like I said, slow your roll so that you're standing up for it in the right way. This is not aggressive attack and take down. This is fully being in our power. Aggressive attack and take down gets sloppy, things get missed, and you don't get what you want. This is methodical, taking our time, thinking this out, seeing it, charging it with a full plan. Chiron's the wounded healer. We can make the character changes. We can illuminate ourselves into beautiful things, not just ego things. You can make the changes by knowing how to attack properly, knowing how to speak properly, and doing it, but by listening to what is truly important. What makes you tick? Are you getting any of this? Like I said, what makes you tick? The 5th house is your creating house. It is your fun house. It's where you meet your partners. It's where you have synchronicities and enjoyment. You don't meet your loved ones just because they're in the 7th house. You meet them in the 5th house because there's some kind of interest there. There's something that makes you want to enjoy the same things and have time and do these things. Are we doing them? What do we have to do so that we can make that happen? So it's not just a desire, but a reality. But your challenges are still difficult. Like I was saying in the beginning of the show, you have a grand square taking place, which has been taking place for like 2 weeks. It's been slowly shifting, but for the most part, it's been a grand square. You have the Sun, Pluto, North Node, and South Node. Not to mention, you also have Haumea there with that South Node. This is literally the Pluto and the Sun combating, going back and forth, illuminating the heart chakra. So this is getting into life force energy. It is getting into what we have clogged up in the heart chakra of forgiveness and acceptance, as well as truly loving. Affirmations. A lot of us have a problem with love. You know what? An affirmation to help you open up your heart chakra is I love love. It's an easy one to remember. It's an easy one to remember to start moving us in a healthier way. I love love, especially when you're upset. Being upset and angry teaches you that something has to change. Something's not right. But the way we act is what makes the difference. Sun in that 5th house, your creative energy, your fun zone. The 12th house, the world and society trying to tell you what you can and can't do. And if you can enjoy that, then it goes to the first house, your character, and the relationship zone, the tribe. This is about becoming the supreme being, being able to stand in justice and do so without being a fiery ball of shit. That energy is going to be difficult until it finally breaks. You've got Saturn in the 12th house, which is not getting along with Mars in the 6th. Your people, places, and things, your daily activities. Your daily activities, your mundane tasks. What you do every single day. That is the most manifesting of energy. And we ignore it because it's mundane. We overlook it because it's mundane. It's the most powerful. Like I said, you get up, you brush your teeth, you have some breakfast, you go off to work. What do? Just come home, go to sleep? Do you get up and do anything for yourself? Do you enjoy any of this for yourself? What are you doing for yourself? Versus the people, places, and things. Are you spending your time with people that really lower your vibration or people that help lift it? It is Mars, your passion, your action, your aggression, your inner warrior, and your daily activity needs to stand his ground. Speaking directly with, if you want change, you're gonna have to make it. Saturn, rules, walls, boundaries. You can continue to live that life with your eyes sewn shut, or you can actually make the changes. Saturn is also not getting along with anything anything in Leo. Mercury, Venus, Lilith. Sensitive communication. What do you burn for? What are you here for? Are you here just to work like a dog? When are you going to take control and take that power back? That is then not getting along with Uranus. Your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom. It is set up to be difficult. And that is what they are counting on. You have got to stand firm in your supreme energy. But only you can claim it, baby. I'll see you guys next week. Also, before I do shut this down, I do have, for those of you who followed before, Kelly and me are going to start doing Thursday Thunder again on Thursdays. It will not be here on the Matrix. You will have to come to my pages, but all that information is down in the description boxes. But on Thursdays, Kelly and I will be doing like Thursday Thunder, which is more or less we start tossing out some tarot cards or whatever we're picking up from spirit, giving you a little bit of collective consciousness energies or collective energies readings. More or less, we do it at 9 o'clock on Thursday nights. As well as you may want to check out my pages. I have some new sales going on. I have a new sale for helping people connect with their spirit guides, especially animal guides. And I say it that way because so many people have heard of their spirit guides, or they understand in theory what their guides are, or they like, I've learned what my guide is. But if you haven't actually been activated in that power, that's a whole nother story. Shamanically, I start doing work and I will help actually activate the power. There's definitely a difference between knowing your guide and being at one with your guides. And then I also have soul whispering, soul sounding and soul word information. This is sometimes your souls give you a private word that is helping for relaxing and controlling, but soul sounding helps you to also understand part of your blueprint as well as your soul's sound, which will help you connect with your own source energy, your own soul self. Other things along that line you can always check out on my Facebook page or just message me directly because I have my mentoring and so forth. where I usually sit down with people for an hour. I don't just do tarot readings or astrology readings. I do a little bit of whatever spirit wants me to do at that time. Wherever it needs to go is where it will go. I love you guys. And if you're interested in anything, just look me up. Bye. See you next week.